welcome to another Sunday WOAY ABC4 Community Forum, where we talk to community leaders and local success stories to discuss important information that affects all of us here in Southern West Virginia. I'm your host, Brandy Lawrence, and today we're joined by another distinguished guest. Caitlin Pauley, who is the Director of Programs at Necco Foster Care, joins us this morning. Thanks so much for coming back to the forum.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, foster care is an important topic to talk about, but people may not be familiar with Necco in particular. So can you tell them a little bit about what you all do and your mission?
So, our goal is, of course, to build families. So what that can look like is if anybody is willing to foster, we need them to, open their home to accept children of all ages. But we also are able to successfully complete adoptions. So if they are willing or interested in adoption, we also need adoptable homes. That certification process, the moment that you inquire with us, you can inquire through our website or you can call our office. It takes about 12 weeks. Those classes are in person, but we also come to your home. And that's just because we need to get to know you guys in your own environment. We need to just make sure that, your home is safe, that if you have any questions about your home, we're laying eyes on it. But sometimes there are situations that, the people don't feel necessarily comfortable sharing some information in our classes, even though we get everybody to participate. We just want to know our parents as best as possible in their own environment so that we can make sure that we match kids for the best interest of them and the kids in their home.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, since you're, going into the homes and things like that, what type of things are you looking for and what type of requirements do people need to have to be a foster parent?
Really the requirements, it looks like it can be intimidating, but single parents, same-sex couples, and then of course, parents who maybe one stays home and the other one goes to work. There's really just not a specific guideline for who can be foster parents. We do need to do a financial statement just to make sure that, that part of it is okay. But, if you have any questions about it, just call us. We'll have a discussion. You can come into our office. We can make sure that this is the right fit for you. But it's a simple process. There's a little bit of paperwork that's involved, but we try to make it as easy as we can for you, and we'll come pick up the paperwork if we need to. We'll come to your house and do it with you, like I said. And while we're in your home, we're not looking to really, pull apart your home, but we are making sure that there aren't any safety concerns, that, the requirements for the homes such as fire extinguishers and fire escape ladders, different things like that are already in the home before they get certified. So that's just the things that we're looking for to make sure that once they do accept the child, that they're good to go.
Awesome. And why should people consider fostering a child?
Man, it's a very sensitive topic, but I think that, it's so important for us to bring awareness to. We are in a crisis right now for foster parents. Just since the beginning of this year, we have received phone calls in our state of West Virginia for 824 kids. Unfortunately, but also fortunately, throughout the state in Necco, we've been able to place only 30 of those kids. So that is how big the need is. I know we can never have enough. Every day we're getting phone calls for teenagers, especially the teenagers in sibling groups, and we don't have enough to be able to put these kids together when they're siblings or anybody willing to take the teenagers, and it's heartbreaking. It is a very, very difficult conversation to have with the department workers to say, I'm sorry, we can't find a home for them because they're a teenager, because they're 13 years old, because they're 17 and they're getting ready to turn 18. And it weighs on us. It weighs on the DHHR workers. It weighs on us as employees because the work doesn't stop. The phone calls don't stop. The abuse doesn't stop because it's 9 to 5 work. We get phone calls all throughout the night, and it's hard, especially to know what some of these kids have went through and to know that all they need is a trusting family to say yes to them, to give them the opportunity to feel safe. That's most important, to feel loved, to give them a routine and some structure and just encouragement to be who they need to be as kids. And our foster parents do a wonderful job of getting our kids involved in the community, to give them some normalcy and to help them work through the struggles that they face. This isn't their fault that they're in foster care. But we do our best to make sure that, the kids are successful in anything that they choose to do, but also that the foster parents feel comfortable and they feel supported. So we're always in the home, working with the foster parents. We're a phone call away if they need us. Even in the middle of the night, if something happens, we're at the home. We will, wake up, or we'll drop what we're doing, and we are on the way to make sure that they feel supported. And they work with other foster parents amongst themselves. They're a good support system for each other as a community, to where sometimes they don't even need us. They say, hey, I've reached out to this family. They had success with this. I'm going to try it too. And we love that. But like I said, I can't express enough, we are in a crisis. And I need people to talk about foster care and child welfare, and really decide, is this something that I or we are capable of as a family? And if it's not, then what I need is for people to talk to their friends and their family, their church members, anybody that they know, because I am sure that everybody who I can get in touch with, or that I can reach out to, whether it's through this or a phone call or an event, they know somebody who's capable of fostering. So be, the courageous one and start that conversation. And tell them to call Necco. Tell them, I don't have all the answers to your questions, but I know that they can, because it starts with one conversation. And so that's what I need. We will do what we can to get, the family comfortable, to get the child comfortable. But if anybody is in a situation such as church or small business or things like that, and they would like for any of us to come and just continue talking about foster care, see how they can help us, even if it's not being a foster parent, we're more than happy. We want to come to the events. We want to come and talk to small businesses and big businesses. We definitely want to come and talk to the churches. So please invite us to come. Because, even if it isn't being a foster parent, there's always a need that we have. Whether that's school supplies, at Christmas time we need sponsors for Christmas gifts, and just different things throughout the year that we need, our community to help us with. And it helps to have our foster parents have a community behind them, so that we can say, hey, we've reached out to this small business or this resource, and they are really, willing to help us. Why don't you contact them, or different things like that. So just start the conversation.
Awesome. And I'm really glad that, you brought up the support that foster parents have, because that was actually going to lead into my next question, because I know it may be intimidating for some people to hear about being a foster parent and kind of taking that on. And, some kids, like you said, it's not their fault. They've experienced way more than a child should have to experience, so they have to deal with things like that. So it's really great that you all are there as support to them, just in case, anything happens. So if anybody, is out there even thinking about being a foster parent, or just wants to help, you guys get in touch with Necco, or get in touch with family and friends and encourage them to do it. So what is your biggest need, currently, after we've talked about, the foster care system is very saturated right now with kids who need homes. But, beyond that, even just foster parents, what has been a need that you all have seen that we could potentially help with?
We definitely need foster parents who are willing to accept teenagers. That need will never go away, and it is one that is very difficult for us to kind of emotionally process, because these kids, they are very aware of what has been going on. Not only that, but they're teenagers and they're getting ready to be adults, and they need trusted adults to teach them all of the basic living skills. So that could be cooking, that could be laundry. They might need some help with their education, so they need, some advocacy for an IEP or tutoring or different things like that as well. But really, it's a very tough situation when we call and look for families who are willing to take a teenager, and they either can't or they're not willing to because of the age. And it's not anything that they've done. It's not a behavior. It's not, the trauma they experienced. It's simply because of their age. We do want our foster parents to take the littles. We do get the calls for the littles, But the teenagers are just so impactful to work with. A lot of them are so articulate. They are able to tell you exactly what's bothering them. And it's easy to manage. It can be intimidating, but we love to work with our teenagers just as much as the littles, but we love our teenagers. They're fun. They will tell you, they'll tell you what their interests are, what their favorite foods are, and it makes things a lot easier when they can really just engage in conversation. But they become so thankful to have a family to just give them a chance, to give them a normal childhood, because if they are a teenager in foster care, they've probably been through a lot already. And so just to have the ability to go to the football games, to go to prom or the school dances, or to hang out with friends and go to the movies, they've never had that before. So they will really, really take those small experiences, and they're huge. But we're also in the corner with you guys. So we're at we want to come to the home to see them get ready for the school dance or to help them. We want to come to the birthday parties and the school graduations and just all of those huge things. They have to have a support system, and it starts with us, and it starts with our foster parents, and we will always be there to just really cheer them on and, just show them some love. They are dealing with a lot of things that even as adults we can't process ourselves. But just to listen and to give them a chance and let them work through their emotions and things is what they need. And it's terrible when we just have to say no because they're a teenager. Something else that we need are foster parents willing to take sibling groups. Even 2 kids, but larger sibling groups is really impactful for us, because what happens is if we can't place them all together in one home, we have to separate. And I can say that is one of the most difficult things to do, is separate siblings. They're already, so scared of what has happened, and then they don't know what is happening typically. So for them to separate and go to different homes and just not know what's happening to each other. A lot of times they've been taking care of each other, or their older siblings have been taking care of the younger ones, and they lose that sense of identity and safety and security from that. They're already losing everything. Some kids are losing their pets. Some are losing that neighbor that kind of looked out for them. They're losing their friends at school, their teacher that was looking out for them. They're getting ripped away from that, and it's not their fault. So for them to then again get separated from each other, it's very hard to do, to help explain to the kids, especially given if they're smaller and they don't understand. But to just there's many times that these kids cling to each other. They're holding each other and they're bawling their eyes out because they're so scared, and we have no choice but to say, sorry, you've got to go with this one and you've got to go with that one. We do our best to make sure that they have regular contact, that they see each other, so we don't separate them and just say we hope for the best. We will make sure that they see each other still, but it's just not the same. It's truly difficult to help kids initially find their identity after they have been taking care of each other, but it's so important for them to get the ability to have a normal childhood, because they shouldn't be little parents at their ages. They shouldn't have to do that, but they do. And it's a wonderful feeling to let them, join a sports team if they want to, and different things like that. So we're really grateful for foster parents who will take large sibling groups.
Awesome. And I can see how that would be a need, but and we're going to talk more about it in our second half. But before we go, do you mind plugging the contact information so we can get in touch? We can get those people in touch with you all.
Yeah. So our phone number is 304-250-1200. Again, my name's Caitlin Pauley, and then our website is necco, necco.org.
Awesome. And you guys stay tuned. I will be right back with Caitlin Pauley talking about Necco Foster Care and how you all can help these kids. back to Sunday Community Forum. I'm here with Caitlin Pauley, who is the Director of Programs for Necco Foster Care, and we're talking about everything that the foster care program needs right now and the fact that they are experiencing a surplus of foster care children and not enough homes to place them in. So we're looking at ways that we can help you guys out. And, for some people, it may be too big of a feat for them to take on a foster child, but they really want to help because, these numbers they're really tragic. And the fact that there are this many children in the foster care system in need of a home it's really heartbreaking. So what can people do to help even if they can't take a child in?
I need them to talk about it. As I had mentioned, just since the beginning of the year, we're 2 months in, and we've already, received phone calls for 824 kids, and that's horrific. So if you can't foster, that's okay. We would never try to push it on anybody. You know what you're capable of. We might encourage it, and we're going to encourage you, but if it's not right for your family or for you personally, that's okay. We just need you to talk about it. To be the person to speak up and say, I learned this, did you know that? Because how horrific, and these children are our future. Like I had mentioned, maybe it's not right for you, but I guarantee one person who is capable. So just having the ability to speak up in whatever setting you're in, whether it's at work, whether you're with friends or family, you're in church, maybe you're a small business owner and you're talking to customers, just speak up and just start that conversation. And, like I had said, if you don't have all the answers, and I don't expect anybody to, call us or encourage them to call us, and we'll take the conversation from there. But, just say, have you heard of these statistics? And there's a lot of statistics, but one that I think is really impactful, that I'm sure a lot of people watched the Super Bowl recently. But one statistic that came from that is across the country, 150 kids came into foster care during just the Super Bowl game. And while we're at home and friends or whatever may be over and we're having food, these kids are going through one of the toughest things that they'll ever face, and we don't even realize it. And of course, if you see something, say something, and teach your kids that as well. It's really important that their friend groups, they're looking out for them. So just make that a normal conversation. It's not taboo, and I don't want anybody to feel that it should be. If you don't know how to bring it up to your kids, even if you're not a foster parent, call us, and we're happy to have that conversation because it needs to happen. Something else that I would ask is if you know a CPS worker, tell them thank you. Or maybe not necessarily a CPS worker, but somebody working in child welfare, because this is a truly difficult job, and it's a thankless job. And right now, like I had said, we are in a crisis, a serious crisis with foster care, and the work doesn't stop. So they are on the front line of facing, the trauma and the abuse, and they're in the home that it's happening in and working with the families, and they need, to be appreciated. So if you know somebody, I would just say, please say thank you to them. But yeah, just please call us if you have questions. Please invite us to your small business, to your church, anything. If you have a group of friends that you want to get some more information with, we'll take you out to dinner, and we'll go over all of the logistics of foster care. It's simple. It's a fun conversation, but we'll meet you where you're at, and we will have that conversation.
That's wonderful. And I know that education is really important, and hopefully we can educate people with this community forum today as well. So thank you for that. And thank you, for your work with child welfare and, in the foster care system, and anybody else, that's working in this, because I can't imagine, just being in the news and talking about some of these cases is difficult, but I'm sure being there and seeing the impact that it has on these kids is really heartbreaking, and you all have to keep it together to, help the child ultimately. So yeah, we definitely commend you for that, especially here in West Virginia, where we seem to be experiencing this very often.
Yes,
very commonly.
West Virginia is really impacted right now with child abuse. So it's tough work. So thank you.
Thank you. And and beyond, spreading information and things like that. Do you all accept donations? And is there any way that, people out there that want to help, can they give things to you?
Yeah, so we always need school supplies because that's one of the things that kids don't come with is school supplies. So of course they need to be new. We don't want to give them anything that's used. But also, at Christmas time, we're always looking for Christmas sponsors to get new toys, or they come with a Christmas list. So we need them to take the Christmas list and get some stuff that's on there and additional things if they wish to, but they at least have a list to go off of. And if you don't have a specific child that you would want to sponsor, we always take new toy donations. We always need that because that's something else that these kids do not come with, are their toys. But yeah, anything that is new, if you see anything on sale that, especially school supplies or toys, pick it up and bring it to us. We're grateful for that.
Awesome. And, sorry. Have you seen, I know that you said that you all go into the home, so have you seen the direct impact that fostering a child has had on these children or adoption?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And it's really fun for us because some of our homes, even after adoption or guardianship, they still stay open to accept more kids. So it's so fun to see how, these kids are flourishing after adoption and just staying in their lives. We don't stop. And we don't stop being a part of their lives after they've been adopted if their home just chooses not to continue fostering, or maybe they can't. But even after that, we still go to the birthday parties, we're still at the graduations and things like that, just because, like I said, these kids need support and they can't have enough of it. We grow attached to these kids. So just being there and watching all of their small successes be the big ones is really neat. We come back and we cheer as a team because we talk about these kids and what they're going through, and because we try to collaborate some ideas of what we can do and different things. And so it can be something as simple as potty training to be something as big as maybe they got an A on their first test and they never had that ability before. So we come back as a team and we're like, guess what happened? And we're so excited. And then of course we find a way to celebrate. But we don't leave out the family's biological children either. And I want that to be, really important that we celebrate them as well. Because they are having to open their home and their family and what they know to kids that are they're strangers to them. So they're having to share their stuff and their space. And so we always make it a point to, even if they, just got their report card, can I see yours too? And so we want to celebrate with them. And, maybe it is that they made the sports team or something. So we don't forget about the biological kids. They are just as important to us as well. So, we really like to be a part of the family unit and just really celebrate everybody together. And it might be something too that, maybe the foster parents were struggling with something. Maybe the adjustment to having foster kids has been impactful, and they've just had to find, their way through some of the changes that comes with it, and it's typically just their routine and their structure in the home. Or it can be something that maybe, our foster parents got a new job and, it's been a great thing for them, so we celebrate. But it's really cool to, have our foster parents make an impact on the kids and then watch how that has impacted our foster parents. And sometimes those conversations are done in private because they need to talk to us just to, have that safe place to say, man, this was tough, but we did it. And so we're still there. We're still celebrating no matter who, our audience is. We're never backing down from being there for them.
That's great. That's really great. And, it's awesome that, you're kind of offering them another family and more friends on top of, being the foster care with their foster care parent and their foster care siblings. Mm-hmm. So that's really great. And I think that it just offers them another layer of support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, some of these homes, that you go into and they're doing awesome, so awesome that they want to adopt the foster care dependent. Is the process for that, is it a separate process afterwards, or what does that look like for them?
We still handle adoptions, but it is a separate process outside of foster care. It's still through the state, but that does take a little bit longer. Typically from the time that we're able to start the adoption until it's finalized is about 6 months. So yeah, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit of a process. It's a lot of paperwork, but we tried to make it as quick as possible, because by the time that we've gotten to the point of being adoptable, or by the time we've gotten a child who has been adoptable and they finally have a family who's willing to adopt them, of course we want to try to make it as quick as possible so that they have some normalcy and we can kind of back out of their lives and let them, be a family. And sometimes it's really important for the kids too, especially if they're older, to not have a social worker involved in their lives, because that's what they've known. And, they get burnt out having to talk to different people. And so for us to be able to just say, hey, you're a family now, you don't have to see us anymore. And they're so grateful and excited for that. It makes us sad, but, because we love our kids, but we're excited to just let them be a kid and have a family and just, have some normalcy. So yeah, it's a different process, but it's a simple process. It's just more paperwork.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd imagine, because you want to take them and love them forever, so you got to make sure it's on the up and up.
Yep.
But we have got a little over a minute before we go out. But before we go, do you mind plugging the contact information just one more time, so those foster parents and those people that are going to spread this information out to the people can get in touch with you all?
Yeah, so our phone number is 304-250-1200, and then our website is Necco, necco.org. You can talk to any of us if you're, interested, or if you would like to speak with me. My name's Caitlin Pauley.
Awesome. And, for the people that want to book you all to come out and speak, they can get in touch with you through
Absolutely.
the website and the phone number as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Awesome.
and I hope that they do.
Awesome. Yes, you definitely should. We really need to step up and help, with this problem. It's really a serious problem, and these kids don't deserve this. So
Absolutely.
Thank you so much again
Thank
for
you.
coming
Yeah.
today and for the work that you do.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us this Sunday. You guys be sure to tune in next Sunday to our next community forum, where we talk to local success stories and community leaders about what's going on here in Southern West Virginia. You guys have a happy Sunday.